to Uncommonly Good MTG. I am your host, Dr. Yukon Suckit. Suckit is French for you can suck it. Anyways, I'm broadcasting to you from my secret underground headquarters, and I am bringing to you a deck that is currently referred to as Mono Black Aggro. And my problem is that I love Mono Black. I love Mono Black, but I kind of feel like Streets New Capenna really killed the ability for Mono Black to do anything decent. Now, the deal is you can play tons of stuff that is not Streets New Capenna. There's a number of great Mono Black decks out there, but I always try to make sure that we're playing something that is relatively recent. It's got new cards in it, but we got to do what we got to do. And New Capenna is not very friendly towards monocolored decks. All of the good stuff is multicolor, and you got to kind of go for it. But man, monocolor is the bee's knees. So I ran across this deck over at, let's find out where I got this from, over at MTGA Zone, and they're saying they're calling this like the Lightning Black deck or whatever. I don't know. It's doing super well. I don't know. I mean, it's got cards in it. I've seen some of them play before. I've never seen this particular configuration of it. So we're going to try it out today. We're going to get this one up on the blocks. We're going to take a look at its belly, and then we're going to drive it around a few laps to see how well it does. So let's take a look. At the low end, we've got Bloodchief's Thirst, one of the better cards for doing creature removal right now. I always feel like the red ribbons or whatever in between the two dudes there kind of look like Superman's S right there. It's not super close, but it's enough that it's reminiscent of it. So that's what I always see, just to put that in your brain. So for one, you can destroy a target creature or planeswalker with a mana value of 2 or less. What would be really, really good would just to have another card out there that would just reduce the mana value of cards. So that way these low-end cards could take them out. It wouldn't affect them in any other way other than until the end of the turn, all of your opponent's creatures were 1 mana value cards. That would be so good. That would be incredible, as a matter of fact. All right, so there you go, Wizards. If you hear me and you hear that being taken on, I'm not going to sue you. You could just go ahead and use it, and you could pretend that you came up with that idea, because I'd like to play it, and I know that you don't take ideas from other people. All right, we've got Concealing Curtains, which I personally love. I think this is a great card because I'm big into discard. Dr. Suckit loves discard. The bad thing about this card is that when it comes out, it doesn't really do anything. It's just a 0/4 defender, blah, blah, blah. And then when you get up to 3 mana, you can transform it into the Eye Horror, an eyeball with tentacles somehow. And it looks like it's not only just one eyeball, it's an eyeball covered in eyeballs. That's a lot of vision. Yeah, let's see. So then it has Menace, and it's a 3/4, and also when it transforms, then the opponent reveals their hand, and then you get to choose a non-land card from it that person has to get rid of. And then they draw a card. So, actually that's the thing. I never realized that they got to draw a card after the deal. Well, at least you get to get rid of something that you hate, and then there's a chance to get something that's just like a land or something. But anyway, so for being a discard card, it's always nice to have some sort of beef there, a 3/4, to do some damage after the fact, and 4 for a butt is excellent, especially at the low end. Man, we got the Forsworn Paladin. This one's from, what is that, Forgotten Realms, it looks like. And I don't think this card really ever saw any play there. It was just, we quickly just didn't pay attention to it. It looked like it was a crap rare. Yet here it is showing up months later inside supposedly one of the best mono black decks out there. So this guy is a 1/1 for 1. He's got Menace, so he'll be able to get in a couple licks maybe, do his 1 point of damage. But for 2 mana, you can create a treasure token if you pay a life. And for 3 mana, target creature gets +2/+0 till the end of turn. And if mana was spent from a treasure, then that creature also gains Death Touch. So he's got a little bit of utility to him, I suppose. And we'll see if he's actually plays out being better than he is. I mean, his ability to create treasure, that'll help you to ramp, I suppose. We got Okiba, Reckoner, Raid, and your opponent loses life, you gain a life. You do that twice, at which point you got a 2/2 with Menace. And then all of your vehicles that you control have Menace, but I don't believe there's any vehicles in here at all. So he just is going to be, what is it? Yeah, 2/2 with Menace on the third turn. So, whatever. That's the thing is, a lot of these cards, they just seem like second or third tier junk. So I'm really interested to see how this stuff comes together. I know that a lot of black decks are playing this Reckoner Raid card, and I'm not exactly sure why. Here's March of Wretched Sorrow. I think this card should get a lot more play, technically. So it's 1 and X, and then it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. So it's fantastic. And even more so is you can sacrifice black cards from your hand to increase that X by 2. So you could really go to town with this card if you're willing to throw away something you got in your hand. We got Blade of the Oni, which is, let's see, it's an artifact creature. When it comes out, it's a 3/1 and equipped. And then it says equipped creature has a base power and toughness of 5/5, has menace, and is a black demon in addition to its other color types. So it's just a 3/1. And then you can reconfigure it into an equipment for 4, and then put it on something else, who would then suddenly become a 5/5 with menace and is a black demon. I know there's a lot of menacing going on around here. Like, one thing would be nice, I mean, you could throw it onto the Tenacious Underdog, you know, turn it from a 3/2 into a 5/5, and then give it menace. Still, I'm not exactly sure why this is so great, but we'll see. We got Nullpriest of Oblivion, and I always kind of like this card, but I never played it myself, really. It just seemed like, because the deal is you have to play the kicker, and the kicker on this is like 6, which is rough. But, even if you're not playing it with the kicker, you got Menace and Lifelink, and it's a 2/1. But it's at 2/1, she's just going to die, right? Die. But if you can play it at 6, then when it comes into the battlefield, if it was kicked, so then you can return target creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's got reanimation built into it. So you have to play 6 rather than like 4 or 5, like normal reanimation, because you're getting a creature with lifelink out of the deal there. All right, we got the Tenacious Underdog, and this guy is seeing a lot of play right now. And that's because he can be cast out of the graveyard. And so therefore he dies, he comes back. He makes him better than those skeletons or whatever that keep coming back. The big deal, though, is that you have to pay life, so you're going to be killing yourself getting this guy out. But other than that, he's just a 3/2 for 2. And then if you want to, you can blitz him, which is 4 and 2 life. So hopefully you'll have the life to be able to keep this guy going, because he could be a serious threat, a lot like that Fortified Samurai, whatever the red one has, from Kamigawa. All right, we got the Biting Palm Ninja, and I think this guy is fantastic. I remember I recognized a while back ago that he'd be good in any discard deck, because he's got ninjutsu, meaning you can play them on top of, like, normally cost 3, but you can surprise him out for 3, so not that big of a deal. But when he enters the battlefield, he has a menace counter on him, so he cannot be blocked by less than 2 creatures. And of course, he's got his icky, like, why would you have a really long tongue like that if you're going to have that kind of teeth around that? It just seems wrong. All right, so anyways, and whenever the ninja deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a menace counter from it, and when you do, the player reveals their hand, and you choose a non-land card from it. So, and then you exile that card. So he only gets 1 shot at doing the card removal. This guy's really made to sort of like be ninja'd back to somebody's hand, and then he gets played again, so therefore he can keep doing that whole enter the battlefield attacking kind of situation. So you got to use him like a ninja, and he'll do very well. But yeah, if maybe you're playing 2 ninjas off each other, so it's attack, 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 and they're just hopscotching each other, that might work out really well. We got the Graveyard Trespasser. When she comes out, she's a 3/3 for 3, and she's got Ward, which they have to discard a card to be able to do additional damage, anything to her directly. And when she enters the battlefield or attacks, you get to exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, and if it was a creature card, then your opponent loses a life and you gain a life. And then if it's when it turns into a werewolf, you get to do it to 2 targets, and then for each of those that was a creature, then it's all once again, opponent loses life and you gain a life. So there's some good momentum right there with the Graveyard Trespasser. You shouldn't overlook how good this card is. We've got Nashi, the Moon Sage's Scion. And it's a rat ninja. It's a 3/2 for 3. Interesting. That's a good balance for a black card. And it's got ninjutsu, so that means you can play it for 4 on top of an attacking creature. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until the end of your turn, you may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. So you get an ability to sacrifice your life to be able to play a card that just came off the top. Then again, if it's like a land or something, you don't have to pay anything. It's fantastic. All right, here are 2 Nighthawk Scavengers. You get a 1+ however, whatever, and a 3 for its butt for 3, and it's flying, death touch, lifelink. That is all fantastic for the cost, right? Its power is 1+ the number of card types amongst cards in your opponent graveyard. So it can be super powerful. Really, this guy, here's my deal with this guy, is that he is so powerful that that your opponent has to kill him almost immediately. So usually he is just a lightning rod that just takes whatever damage is available. That you just can't keep this guy alive. Because if he is alive, he's just dead. Dead. They're just going after him. Way too good. Even if he's just a 1/3 with lifelink, he's too much. Okay, we got Agadeem's Awakening, which is just a black land. And then potentially you can return creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. But it's a weird situation. If you're to pay 2 extra, then you can find a 2 and a 1. If you're to pay 3 extra, you can find something that's a 3 and a 2 and a 1. And if we look at our graveyard, we've got all of that. Do we? Yeah, we do. Because we got, like, you could do Midnight Scavenger and an Underdog and I guess it's got to be a creature. So it'd be a Forsworn Paladin or the Concealed Curtains. You know, you have the ability to put out 3 creatures from your graveyard right back out to the battlefield using this Agadeem's Awakening. So yeah, if you have 4 or 5 or 6 mana, you could totally use it, and it does a very good job, and I'd highly recommend it. So we'll see. We got Hagra Mauling, which is just a black land, but if you need to, you have the ability to destroy any target creature, and it'll cost you 4 mana. It says it costs 1 less if the opponent controls no basic lands. I haven't seen that. Usually it's for the first couple of rounds you might have that happen, but they have always got a basic land of some sort eventually. Look out behind you, Mire. Look out behind you. All right, here we go. 4 Invoke Despair, probably the best black card from Kamigawa. Invoke Despair, probably one of the best of the invokes. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. So what it is that they have to sacrifice a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker. And if they can't, for each one they cannot do, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. So there's a lot of damage being dealt by Invoke Despair. Now, we don't have a lot of playing these things twice or getting it back from the graveyard, so you'll just have to do whatever you can do. We got 2 Hive of the Eye Tyrants. We got 2 of the mill. Basically, you mill 3 cards, and you return a creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. We don't have any planeswalkers in here that I remember. And we got 18 regular swamps. So what is that total? 22. And then we've got 23, 24, 25. I forget if there's somebody else that might have also been a land. Doesn't look like it. So yeah, 25 mana altogether. That's a good number. All right, so that is it. I mean, nothing in here looks super fantastic. I mean, Invoke Despair, of course, is beautiful. This guy is fantastic. But it's like there's not a whole lot of synergy or anything as far as I can tell. So we'll give it a try. We'll see if this somehow works out super good. And we'll see if this deck is better than I think it is. Subscribe. And we're playing against fabiorjci. We got 3 mana right there. We can play everything in our hand, so we shall do so. Keep. Oh, I'm sorry, but Fabio there is so poor he can't afford a pet. And your dude's got heterochromatic eyeballs. Not the best so far, dude. What do we got here? Okay, great. We're gonna put out Okiba wrecking our raid. Suck it. Working for the man. I'm sorry, I got that song going through my head. I cannot seem to get it out. I'm not blitzing. I might be Rudolph or Comet, but not blitzing. Somebody needs to die. Quickly. Three mana. Wink. I got 2 to go, huh? And let's go see what we got going on here. And we'll start up another raid. Let's be a jerk. Alright, we got him down to 8. He's got nothing showing. And we go ahead and pop the land here, or my curtain. What's behind it? What's behind the curtain? It's an eyeball. Hope you like that one better. Alright, let's just choke it back for a second here. If I do this, he'll be able to kill it as soon as they tap, which means I'll be able to do 5 points of damage to him. Yeah, let's just press it. Let's press our luck. I don't care, pick one. Okay, so we can put out a samurai. He doesn't really have enough mana. He got enough mana for that guy. Ninja! They'll need it to be able to block anything I'm doing here. Well, that's not good. I'm gonna blitz. I mean, he's definitely got enough to survive this round. Alright, so we could definitely blitz on the next turn. These two guys have got Menace, which means if he can't gain life, he's dead. Yeah, no, I win it right here. Here we go. And we win! fabiorjci in the grave. Subscribe. And we're playing against Incursio. Incursio 1. Alright, so I got 3 mana. And stuff I can play. So let's keep it. We're going second. Start off with that guy. Enter. Do I really want to do that? Yeah, let's do it. Paid a lot for you, Curtain. Alright, suck it, you hobbit. Well, that's not terribly good. Let's see, what are we getting rid of here? Let's peer behind the curtain. Oh, another one of those. So it's legendary, we're not getting rid of that. So let's just do that. I'm going to say, because we can get rid of the chariot, except for the fact that he can't play it while there's another one in play. Ooh, I'm surprised he's going for that. Yeah, he just wasted that. Alright, whatever, monkey shines. Alright, so I got 4 mana potentially here. Tenacious Underdog is going to have to act as a defender. Ooh, he's blitzing. I'm going to take a lot for this one. Yeah, I'm down to 4. Well, at least we took out the chariot. Looks like we're going up against our own aggro deck right there. Alright, let's put out some lifelink. That'll give us something. Don't have 6. And looks like it's a... Yeah, let's do this guy. Blitz! I'm going for a Boneyard Blitz. Okay, give me more than -5. Nope, couldn't do it. Defeated! Subscribe. Alright, going up against E-Zek. E-Zek. Whatever, man. 2 mana. Oh, that seems rough. I'm going second again. I'll keep it. Alright, here we go. Nice slow land to start us off with. Paid. Oh, wait. I didn't mean to do that, but I might as well make use of it since I paid for it. I was trying to stay away from that, but my button finger got a little clicky. What you doing there, E? How much you can zoom in on what's going on here? This just looks like a whole big mess of nothing. Alright, 2. So I'm going to have 4 mana. If I just go ahead and do this now, I'll have the 5 for the Invoke Despair. Let's go ahead and take it. And we're done. I just felt like last game we played that I really wanted to be able to Invoke Despair, but I could never get enough mana for it. There comes Lightning Rod. Okay, now it turns out I didn't need to waste that whole turn for mana, because I got plenty otherwise, but that's just the way I like it. Here comes the Nighthawk. All right, they don't seem to have an answer to the Nighthawks. At least not at the moment. Drawing some cards. All attacking. (24-6), things are looking pretty good. Okay, things are not looking quite so good. If only I had a card that could do 6 points of damage. Unfortunately, this one can only do 4. And this one will do 1. And we win! That was a nice little 1-2 punch. Subscribe. Alright, so here is Mono Black Aggro, and this thing is definitely aggro. And like any good aggro deck, if it doesn't hit its marks, it just becomes weak and it just gets totally punched over. And if it lasts too long, somebody else would usually grow way bigger than it. And that's just pretty much the end of it. But this thing definitely has its teeth. If you get it out, you have a certain amount of control. They could take out some early things, and your dudes definitely have some punch. I really like the Nighthawk Scavenger with with it having lifelink and flying, and the fact that it gets stronger with the more things that go into the graveyard. Having 2 of those out was just so incredible. We were doing 6 points of damage and just lapping it up like crazy. I like the fact that there's a certain amount of discard in here and stuff that messes around with things that are in the graveyard to get rid of the flashback, because once again, there's a certain amount of control that's all throughout this deck. Invoke Despair was so wonderful. Between taking out permanents that are left behind that are causing you problems, and then when they didn't have a permanent, you got to draw a card and they lost 2 life. That was just so devastating. Everything has Menace, which usually it feels weird with Menace because like you don't really feel like you're getting a lot out of it, because if they got 1 blocker, a lot of times they'll have 2 blockers. And in this case, we had a lot of things with Menace and they only had 2 blockers. They can only block 1 thing at a time. It really kind of helped a lot. I guess the more you pile up on something, the better off you're going to be. So like this guy to me was super disappointing. I didn't particularly care for him at all. Sure, it's like in a pinch he'll help generate some mana, in the form of treasure. But I mean, you're paying so much for it. And then when he's not doing it, he's just a gigantic Wienersaurus Rex. The only thing that I like about him is that he's someplace that potentially a Blade of the Oni could be applied to, because it by itself is only a 3/1. So making it something into a 5/5, I mean, but still, that's all you're doing is make it into a 5/5. Everything else you have already has Menace. So I don't know. I feel like there's a few cards in here that could probably be swapped out. Sorry. But the deck was really good. I mean, it didn't win 100% of the time, but if you're in the mood for playing some mono deck, or some monocolored aggro action, you're tired of playing like, I don't know, whatever, goblins in red or whatever, or even just, white aggro, Mono Black's got some good action here. I thought it was pretty decent. So, What am I going to rate this deck? I'm going to give it a B+. I don't think it's all that competitive. I think there are lots of situations in which it's going to get outclassed. But I think it still is a fun deck to play. And let's take a look what we got here. So we got one Mythic, but it's just a land. And that's another Mythic, but there's only one of it in there. That's Mythic. Yeah, there's tons of rares in here. And the Mythics in here, I don't think are really all that, you could easily swap them out for something else. So this seems like it's a good template for some relatively cheap decks that you could put together and do a good job of, playing an arena. So I hope you end up having as much fun with this deck as I did. Hey, that's it for now. I thank you very much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like or subscribe to this video because it helps me out a lot. I just want to remind you that you've made this day a special day just by being you. There is no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. I hope to see you back here tomorrow, folks. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye.